Leaders are not just defined by their words. Leaders are defined by their works, dedication, and ethics. A few days from now, we are going to elect a new set of student council officers. Who among these aspirants will usher San Beda to fight for freedom and change? Who among these leaders will be the new future of the institution? Ladies and gentlemen, I am Cohen Montesa, and this is the Bedan One-on-One. Now, we have Miss Angelica Ordoñez of San Vicky's Party. Hi, Miss Ordoñez. How do you want me to call you?
Angel.
Angel. So, Angel, I'm firing 5 questions.
Okay.
I'm starting now.
Okay.
So, how do you plan to work with other SC members who are not part of your party?
For me, it's not about the political party kung saan ka nanggaling. Para sa akin, nagsisimula yung nag-end yung pagiging partisan mo pag pumasok ka na sa student council. Dapat pantay-pantay na kayo sa kung ano man yung gusto nyong patakbuhin. Kasi at the end of the day, pareho naman kayo ng gusto at para doon is yung to serve the Bedan community.
Nabanggit mo na kapag papasok ng student council, yung loyalty sa party ay nag-e-end. Does this mean na kapag nag-step down ka as a student council, manunumbalik ang iyong loyalty sa iyong party?
Siguro naman, nandun pa rin naman yung pagmamahal mo sa political party mo. Hindi naman siguro mawawala yun. Kahit man pumasok ka sa student council, nandun pa rin sa puso mo na nanggaling ka doon at dinevelop ka nila. Pero for me, it's okay to go back na parang to give back sa kanila kung saan ka nanggaling.
Alright, so convince us that you're not running for this post just to beef up your resume.
For me, nagsimula po kasi ako talaga sa mababa. So for me, hindi naman porket nasa posisyon ka, meron ka ng authority or what. Parang hindi siya to lift up your resume. Kasi kaya nga kami tumakbo dito is to hear the voices of the Bedan community and to serve the Bedan community as a student.
So tell us how you plan to address any criticism that you may encounter from anyone at any point during your administration.
For me po, lahat naman po tayo may iba't ibang opinion sa bawat isa. May positive criticism, may negative criticism. Nasa sayo na lang po kung paano mo dadalhin yun. Kung positive man, ipagpapatuloy mo kung ano man yung ginagawa mo. Pero kung mali man or negative yung criticism na binibigay sa'yo, nasa sayo rin para baguhin mo yun. At itama kung ano man yung maling criticism nila for you.
So how would you answer criticisms from probably students, administrators, or members of the council as well? Paano mo sila i-approach? Do you have any specific plans or concrete plans for that matter?
For me, siguro ipapasok ko yung platform ko ng needs-based approach. Through this, parang gusto ko marinig kung ano man yung kailangan nila, kung ano man yung gusto nila. So, yun nga, parang ipagpapatuloy ko yung kung positive man, ipagpapatuloy ko kung ano yung tama. Kung mali man, babaguhin ko.
So, as an IVP, what do you think are the internal affairs that the students should know about but still do not? How do you plan to communicate this?
Through the batch representative, dun po sa mga internal issue, gusto ko pong may pahatid sa kanila yung mga hindi nila nalalaman. Itatap ko po yung mga batch representative na kung ano man yung gusto nilang ilapit sa amin, hihingi ako ng tulong sa mga batch representative ko para sa ganung paraan, personal po namin magawa ng paraan ng kanilang mga problema or hinaing.
Ano yung sa tingin mo yung mga dapat nalalaman ng estudyante na hindi nila nalalaman ngayon?
Siguro po yung internal issue regarding siguro implementations or rules na siguro may nagagawa sila pero hindi nila alam na mali na pala or kailangan nilang baguhin siguro.
Kaninong kasalanan na hindi nila alam na mali na pala sila? In your opinion, who bears the negligence on that?
Siguro po kailangan po yung proper dissemination from us as student council na kami po yung representation ng student body. So sa amin po siguro dapat manggaling yung proper dissemination para ma-inform po silang lahat.
So how would you assert yourself from the SC president so that your advocacy and stand on various SBC community issues would be emphasized?
For me, siguro po susuportahan ko po yung president ko sa mga gusto niyang anuin. Pero for me, dapat po in line pa rin po yung gagawin ko sa Benedictine hallmarks na para magiging benefit for the Bedan community.
Paano pag mayroong stand yung president tapos hindi ka nag-agree, how would you reconcile the differences?
Siguro po kakausapin ko muna po siya, ini-negotiate po namin kung baka naman mas tama yung kanya or mas tama yung akin. Kailangan lang po namin siguro mag-usap kung ano yung mas ikakabuti para sa Bedan community.
Okay, thank you, Angel.
Thank you po.
So now I'm with Miss Josel and Miolata of the Nationalist Youth and Progressive Democrats. So Miss Miolata, how would you like to be addressed?
Just call me Josel po.
Alright, Josel. So I'll start now with the questions.
Yes po.
How do you plan to work with other SC members who are not part of your party?
How do I plan? I plan to work with them as I would work with, the same way I would work with my party. Kasi if I'm elected as an SC officer, ibig sabihin, ka-team ko na sila. The parties are not involved anymore. Our goal now is to basically for a better San Beda. So,
with the different platforms and projects in hand, if ever you'll be elected, how would you reconcile differences with other SC members?
So, to reconcile differences with other SC members, I think that we would have an agreement. We would talk about what we want for the school and have a consensus kung ano ba talaga yung kailangan ng San Beda, kung ano yung kailangan namin gawin. And I think if we have the same vision, if we have the same goal na for a better San Beda, mag-a-agree po kami sa mga gagawin namin.
Convince us that you're not running for this post just to beef up your resume.
I'm not running for this post just for my resume because I have seen the problems in San Beda. I have been in the SOC for 3 years now. And I think that alam ko na po kung ano yung dapat isolven. And I will try my best. I want to serve before I leave this institution.
You mentioned about problems and you mentioned being part of the SOC for the last 3 years.
Yes po.
So being part of the SOC and knowing the problems, what did you do to address or to resolve such problems?
What am I planning to do?
No, as part of the SOC
As
before.
part of the SOC. So, I was the internal vice president for BSG. So what we did was, my role in the BSG is just basically, in the small part of my BSG, what I did was to conduct tutorials. But that was my main role. So what I did was for the betterment. What we tried to do is to provide services for the whole Bedan community, not just to the exclusive to my organization. So, ayun po.
Talking about the problems existing in San Beda,
Yes, po.
what do you think are the problems that you need to address immediately?
I think the main problem that we will address immediately is budget allocation. So we need to properly allocate budget. If this org needs this, if another org needs lesser, but it doesn't need that much budget. If someone needs to go abroad, we can support them.
Tell us how you plan to address any criticism that you may encounter from anyone at any point during your administration.
How I plan to address? I think that I would accept every criticism kasi yun yung nakikita nila sa akin and may panggagalingan yun. So what I would do, titignan, i-analyze ko kung ganun ba talaga ako, kung may nagagawa ba talaga akong mali. And I would self-reflect kasi yun yung pinaka-importante sa isang leader. Mag-self-assessment ka kung effective ka pa ba or hindi na.
As an internal vice president, what do you think are the internal affairs that the students should know about but still do not? How do you plan to communicate this?
The internal affairs that we should know about, I think the most important one is to know our rights. Basically, we are pushing for Magna Carta po to be signed. Kasi diba, for the past, since 2004 pa po yung Magna Carta. And I think students should be aware that we have rights, na we should be free and we should have
Is the
rights.
Magna Carta an internal affair?
Is it? I think for me, Magna Carta is an internal affair because it is inside the Magna Carta are the rights that we have, rights in our school. So I think it is internal.
How would you assert yourself from the student council president so that your advocacy and stand on various San Beda College community issues would be emphasized?
I'm sorry,
How would you assert yourself from the student council president so that your advocacy and stand on various SBC community issues would be emphasized?
how would I assert myself? I think na ang gagawin ko po pag naging internal vice president ako is that yung platforms ko which is may advocacy driven din naman po, I think na ang gagawin, I would talk with the president kung ano yung gagawin namin kasi syempre kailangan po ng teamwork para magawa namin lahat to. So ayun po.
If ever the president and you cannot decide on, do not have the same decision as a certain matter, how would you address that difference?
What I'm pushing for is an inclusive decision making. So what we want is kung hindi kami makapag-decide ng president, we would involve other SC officers kasi hindi lang po yung decision hindi lang po sa amin dalawa. What we want is an inclusive one. We would involve the SOC and the SC.
Thank you. Now, we have Miss Eryn Shelley V. Firmalo of ang Pagbabagong Mithi Party. So, Miss Firmalo, how should I address you?
Eryn na
Alright,
lang.
Eryn. Are you nervous?
No, it's okay.
So, let's start the questions.
Sure.
Convince us that you're not running for this post just to beef up your resume.
Well, honestly, ako, when Mithi first approached me, I initially declined the position because I don't think na, I think I would do more to help the slate talaga in contributing my knowledge about how to be a leader, mga ganyan. Pero when we had the trouble na wala kaming IVP, this is where people of Mithi came to me and convinced me na this is why you have to run, Eryn, because you love San Beda for the wrong and right reasons. And it's true. And that made me, yun yung snapping point na, yeah, I do. So, yun, hindi lang, I don't think na it's not just for me, buffing resume. Kasi firstly, hindi ko naman talaga, hindi ako yung nag-approach. I was convinced that I should be an instrument for change na gusto kong makita sa loob ng San Beda.
How do you plan to work with other SC members who are not part of your party?
Well, i-address naman natin lahat ng concerns. I don't think na meron namang problem within how I will approach the other officers. Kasi sa Mithi naman, we believe that everybody has equal opinion as us. So, as much as possible, kung merong, like for example, conflict, we actually, parang pinupush namin yung mga progressive discourse. Kasi it means na merong, kung may tension within the, sa SOC, it means na, meron pang dapat, may mas maganda pang magagawa ang SOC at mas magiging better pa siya in that way.
So how would you respond or how would you settle differences and conflicts if there will be, assuming that you will be seated in the council?
If there would be issues, syempre, me personally, I will address it na I would talk to the person kung ano man yung differences and we make sure na yung differences na yon is settled within us, na hindi siya umaabot on a personal level, that we are very professional on how we deal with those kinds of issues.
Tell us how you plan to address any criticism that you may encounter from anyone at any point during your administration.
Ayun. Actually, ngayon pa lang gusto ko na talaga ng criticisms from everyone na nakikita yung platforms ko. Kasi with criticisms kasi you get to better the way, dun mo na-address kung ano talagang gusto mangyari ng Bedan community eh. So kung ako, mayroong criticism yung mga people from the grassroots level, syempre ipaprioritize ko yung mga bagay na yun kasi they are the ones who's supposed to feel my presence as the SOC chair, as SOC chair nila.
So how would you respond to students' criticism if there will be, or students' criticism and questions about how you handle your position?
What do you mean, like
For example, there is a student that has a question about how you handle things, how would you respond to it?
Siguro, I will talk to the person para magkaroon kami ng kaintindihan na ano bang problem. So, I could address it personally kung personal problem ba sa akin on how I deal with people. I think ako naman mature enough naman ako to deal with those kinds of issues and I can work maturely with those kinds of people na merong criticisms. Yeah.
How would you assert yourself from the SC president so that your advocacy and stand on various SBC community issues would be emphasized?
I'm sorry, pakiulit po.
How would you assert yourself from the SC president so that your advocacy and stand on various SBC community issues would be emphasized?
How would I assert myself? Siguro, kaya naman kung ako man yung maboto sa position na yon, siguro naboto ko dahil sa platforms ko eh. So I think, kung how would I assert myself assuming na Theo is not my president, yun pa rin yung ilalaban ko because personally, yun talaga yung mga advocacy ko na gusto kong makita na sa Bedan community. And as much as possible, yung mga people on the ground voted me for those. So yun, ipupush ko lang siya.
As an IVP, what do you think are the internal affairs that the students should know about but still do not? How do you plan to communicate this?
I think I think sa SOC, mayroong mga instances where people are not well represented. I think ito na yung job ng SOC na pumasok bilang isang Congress eh. So yun, kung mayroong mga problema about this, we direct it head on talaga.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who among these aspirants will lead San Beda to fight for freedom and change? The Bedans are the ones to dictate. The future of this institution does not rest upon the candidates, but on you. This has been the Bedan One-on-One. I am Carl Montesa. Good day.